Okay. The China Ready Quality Service Certification Scheme, for a start, is the only global quality service scheme that is supported and endorsed by major governments around the world, including the United States of America, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia and New Zealand, and also their relevant consumer protection and fair trading agencies. It's also supported by the United Nations World Tourism Organisation, so it's quite unique in that sense, and it provides a protection mechanism for all Chinese people once they leave China. As you know, there's a China tourism law that applies to providers within China, but of course once people leave China it becomes very difficult to enforce compliance with the spirit and the philosophy of that law. So that all of our accredited merchants agree and warrant that they will comply with those requirements as if the people were in China. But in terms of the actual content, it's predicated or based on the fact that Western people engage with Chinese people one-on-one. It's a one-on-one, people-to-people relationship, and those Western people are working within a business. So the Foundation is providing cultural awareness, understanding by Westerners about China and Chinese expectations. So we educate Westerners about the history of China, the economics of China, the political system, the differences, and also the different expectations, because very few Westerners have an understanding of the rapid changes that have been taking place in China. The increasing demand for quality, for trust and for protection and for value and for convenience. So we cover all of those aspects. We cover things like face, the investment mindset, we talk about the different approach to food, we talk about the benchmarking that exists within China, within its tourism industry, and compare that to the West. So that the program is delivered either face-to-face in larger organisations or online through a global education provider. We have relationships with the world's two largest education providers, one called Laureate International Universities and the other one Kaplan, and our online programs are run via Kaplan, so it doesn't matter whether somebody's in London, New York, Paris, Madrid, Sydney or Chicago, they can be accessing that information all of the time. So once those individuals become certified, they get a certificate, and they're very, very proud to have that certificate. They get to have the use of the China Ready logo, so that identifies for Chinese people that the person they're dealing with is properly understanding, has that information that they need to sensitively and respectfully engage and serve Chinese travellers. Once that person is then certified, they are employed by the business, and then the business has to go through a quality assurance program where there's a whole series of checklists. So things like adhering to the China Ready Global Code of Conduct, having complaint handling processes in place, making sure that the business is properly registered in the country in which they operate. There is a whole series of international best practice checklist benchmarking that is required, and our program had to be assessed independently by every separate government around the world. So it was a very time-consuming process, but it was the only way that we could guarantee that protection and safety mechanism for Chinese travellers.